Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Today is Wednesday, May 7th, on a new live session. Today's topic is aligning with your inner integrity to manifest success. Aligning with your inner integrity to manifest success. So, welcome to this live session. Very honored and privileged to be able to come here every week to talk about topics that are meaningful to you, that are practical to you, to really manifest the life that you desire. And this is a topic that is very near and dear to me because um when I aligned with my own truth, my own inner integrity, that is when I started to see real manifestations, real abundance and prosperity start to come into my life. So, again, today's topic is aligning with your inner integrity to manifest success. Hi, Lydia. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. So, as I'm going through today's session, if you have any questions about the topic or any other questions, please let me know. This is a chance to ask me the questions here live today is to talk about aligning with your inner integrity to be able to manifest success in life. Okay, so hi, Najira. Welcome to this live session. So let's clear the energy of the room and then we'll get started on the topic of aligning with your inner integrity to manifest success in life. Just be relaxed, stay present, and breathe naturally. Focus in the presence of the power of now and let go of any thoughts about the future or the past because it's not relevant in this moment. The power is in the now. Dear God, angels, spirit guides, and masters, divine creator, thank you so much for allowing us to create this sacred space on the topic of aligning with our inner integrity to manifest success in life. Thank you so much for allowing us to have this engaging discussion with the beautiful souls. Thank you so much for guiding us and providing these messages and higher wisdom so that we may all be guided to align with our inner integrity to manifest success. Thank you for removing any low frequency energies that do not serve the highest and best good of the souls in this room so that they may all manifest their prosperity and abundance. Thank you for removing any low frequency energies that do not serve the highest and best interest of all of the beautiful souls in this room. Thank you so much for allowing the session to go off without a hitch. To have a beautiful session with flow, ease, peace, and serenity. And so it is. Namaste. Okay. Hi, Barbara. How are you? Okay. So, like I said, if you have any questions as I'm going along, I will take breaks throughout the session so that you can ask me questions, live questions. So, in the I Ching, there is an energy called integrity. And this energy is such a powerful energy because, I think, I'm really into the I Ching Chinese divination system. And I do lots of videos on each of the different energies in the I Ching. There's basically 64 energies, 64 hexagrams. And one of the ones that I really love, my favorite ones, one of the favorite ones, but there are many, is integrity, the energy of integrity. And so, what does this really mean, this energy of integrity? And how does it apply to your life? And how can you apply it so that you could attract more success, abundance, and prosperity? The energy of integrity, when we think about integrity, we think about honesty, we think about truthfulness, we think about authenticity, right? I think those are all the words that we associate with integrity. And so, what it is that, often we want to have integrity. We think about having integrity in our job or having integrity with others or having integrity in situations. But that outer world integrity, where you show integrity in the things that you do in your life and those relationships that you have with the external world, really comes from an integrity on the inside. And so the I Ching integrity is really more about, are you being honest and authentic with yourself? Because that's where the essence and the heart of this integrity really comes from. Are you being authentic and honest with yourself? And that is the big question here. The big question is, are you being authentic and honest with yourself? Think about what that really means. That has a profound effect in your life as you're trying to manifest relationships, job, career, money. Think about why that would have such a profound effect in your life. Is because, we're such individual, energetic beings that God has created so individually for each one of us, right? Nobody is energetically the same. We all have a specific energetic DNA blueprint that nobody shares with us. Nobody on this planet will share with us. So you are a unique energetic DNA being with a unique soul's path and journey of expansion and growth. And that growth and expansion is eternal. It doesn't stop after your body goes. Your body is just a step on the journey to have physical experiences for that expansion and growth. So if you think about that, you are this unique energetic blueprint DNA on this in this planet, on this universal forces. Think about how unique that is, and think about how in that uniqueness there's so much power, there's so much creativity, there's so much resources, there's infinite possibilities and infinite potential in your life because it's unique. Nobody is going to share that unique DNA energetic blueprint with you. So think about how in that sense you're extremely special, that God has created, the divine has created you special to do special things, to bestow upon you your own unique talents and gifts that you're going to express in only the way that you can express it. Nobody's going to express it the way you're going to express it. Lydia is going to express it in Lydia's way. Najira is going to express it in Najira's way. Barbara's going to express it in Barbara's way. Nobody is going to express it the same way as you, even if you're tackling the same problem or the same issue. You're going to all express it in different ways. And so what they're saying in this I Ching, it's about that authenticity of your energetic blueprint. That's the I Ching integrity. It's really about that authenticity of how you were created. What is your energetic blueprint? And are you really aligning with that or not? Or are you going against it? That is what the integrity of the I Ching really is are you really aligning with your uniqueness, with your authenticity of that unique energetic DNA blueprint that you are? That's the integrity energy. And what it is when you tap into that integrity energy of aligning with your energetic blueprint, that is a very powerful thing because now you're leveraging that inner power that you have. You're literally leveraging the uniqueness, the talents and gifts that you have, and the way you express it uniquely. And that will resonate with those on this planet. You'll have your audience, you'll have your market, you'll have, not everybody's going to resonate with it, and not everybody is supposed to resonate with it. We're not supposed to be here to please everyone or to resonate with everyone. That is not our soul's journey. Our soul's journey is to resonate with the people who are ready to resonate with it. That is our soul's journey. And by being authentic to that energetic blueprint, you're going to resonate with those people who resonate. And when you're not, when you're going against and are not aligning with your energetic blueprint, you're going to be really resonating with no one. Or you might resonate initially, but then later it kind of disappears because people can sense the lack of authenticity, the lack of authenticity. Because, when you're fake, it doesn't last for too long. When you're genuine and authentic, that is the foundation for legacy. That is the foundation for a long period of time of endurance, right? Authenticity creates endurance, whereas fake creates short-term pleasure, short-term reward, whatever it is. And so, how can we apply this to our practical life, like in terms of How do I attract more abundance? How do I attract more money? How do I attract more better relationships, better job, better career, better, financial situation in my life? How can I attract more of this? How can I apply this integrity energy to that so that I can truly tap into the possibility of who I am? And so this is where we make that connection to your practical life and practical world. So I just want to take a quick break before I go into the next chapter. If you have any questions, please let me know on this topic or any other topic that you may have questions. Please let me know. And so this integrity energy as we go trying to, let's say, more manifest a better job, a better career, right? It's like, Moon, I'm burnt out. I don't like this career. It's not working for me. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm stuck. I may have to do this job forever. I can't get it. I have somebody in my family now who has been working in a certain industry for what now 10 years, and she's so dying to make a change, a shift out of that industry. But she really, it's hard for her. It's hard for her because she's not, and I can see it, and I haven't said anything to her, but I could see that she's not aligning with her inner integrity. She's always been interested in the food industry and loves food, loves the whole idea of food and the recipes and cooking and things like that. She loves it. And we've always encouraged her to do something in that industry, maybe intern or volunteer initially if you can't get a job. But she always had that limiting belief that, it wasn't gonna work out for her for whatever reason. And she had fear around it. And so she never went into the food industry. And she chose in the industry that she is. And now she's probably going to be almost 40. She's been in this industry for too many years. And you could tell she's kind of in her wits' end now. And she really wants to break out, but she's still stuck. And she's looking for things outside, but it's not panning out for her. And it's because she hasn't aligned with that inner integrity of who she really is, of what really motivates her, what really interests her. What are the things, anytime she makes a recipe, it's so delicious. I mean, it's unbelievable. And she never went to cooking school, right? It's just an innate talent that she has of making beautiful food. And so she had this maybe vision of having a food line that she could sell. And my sister even volunteered to help her with it, but she was like, nah, because she wasn't aligning with her inner integrity, that she has this knack for food. She makes food beautifully and naturally, and the recipes that she comes up with, and she creates her own recipes, is beautiful and it tastes amazing. Had recently, a month and a half ago, I had some of her food. It was delicious. And so what it is this is that what it is that she's now kind of stuck, is that that is a really prime example of not aligning with your inner integrity, who you are. How do you express your soul? In what way? The way she's going to express her soul at the highest level, the expression of her soul at the highest level, is through food, is through recipes. That's how she's going to do it. That's why she has a knack for it. That's why she has an affinity towards it. There's a reason why every single one of us has a certain affinity towards a certain area, a certain space, a certain industry, a certain field, is because there's something in our soul is saying that you're going to express your highest, you're going to manifest the highest expression of yourself through that industry, through that work. And for her, it's really through food. And so what it is that when you have denied, and in her case, she has basically denied her inner integrity, the inner authenticity of who she is, that's going to create a lot of problems in your life, because you're going to be ending up in an industry or field that you feel frustrated over time. You just get burnt out. And that creates a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of unhappiness. And unhappiness and stress creates disease, health issues. I always say stress is the number one cause of health issues. And so you could see where it goes astray for somebody like that. And she's one example of many people on this planet who do the same thing. And it's because she has a limited belief about her potential, about who she is, about how special and unique she is. She doesn't seem to understand that and how she's good enough. She's good enough and she's unconditionally worthy. And she's not making that connection. And so she can't align with that inner integrity of who she really is. And therefore, her external world, as we can see, is going to now reflect that, right? Because she's stressed, she's unhappy, she's frustrated with her life. Why am I still stuck in this industry that I've been now for it's been like 10 years she's been doing this, or maybe even more. It's at the minimum 10 years, and she feels really stuck. And so this is what happens because she's now, and she built this momentum of being stuck. And when you've built a momentum for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years of being stuck, it's almost as if you don't know any other way. You don't know. And you're too scared to make that transition because, they always say the familiar of the unknown of unhappiness is better than the unfamiliar of the future of the unknown by making that leap or making that transition or making that jump. So there's a comfortability of being where she is because she knows what that experience is, even if it's not a good experience, because it's like the body, every cell in your body knows already. It's the familiar. So you'd rather stay in the familiar than go have the courage to make the jump or the leap to the unfamiliar, right? Especially if you've been doing it for so many years. And so this is what's going on. And so what it is where do we say, okay, how do I figure out what my inner integrity, how do I align with this part of myself that is really the part of myself that if I express it has infinite potential, infinite possibilities that could allow me to be on the path of living a life that I feel that expansion and growth. How do I figure out what my integrity is, what my authenticity is? Because sometimes it might be hard to figure that out. And I understand. Some people, they don't even know exactly where to begin. They don't even know. They seem to not have interest in anything, right? And not having an interest in anything is really means that you're disconnected from your higher self. When there's that disconnection from your higher self, from your soul's path or your soul, there's no interest in anything. That's a sign that you're disconnected from your higher self. You're disconnected from the infinite part of you. You're disconnected from the divine. You're disconnected from the universal forces because your ego mind has basically shut it down. Your ego mind has become a barrier to that connection to your higher self. And when there's that barrier to the connection to your higher self, you're going to be disinterested. Life seems like there's no purpose, right? There seems to be no purpose in life. There seems to be nothing to live for in life. And trust me, I have had some of those days in my life where I was not interested in anything. I questioned everything about my life, the purpose of my life. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? I think we all have some of those moments. Some people might have it for longer periods of time, which when it starts to happen for long periods of time, that's when it becomes dangerous. That's when it no longer serves you. Now, if you've had a day or 2 days, or maybe even a week of not of feeling depressed, not feeling that purpose, that's okay because there's ebbs and flows in life. There's peaks and valleys. And those peaks and valleys are natural to the course of expansion and growth. That's part and parcel of the growth of expansion and growth. And so that's what that is. Oh, Nigeria says, I felt disinterested in 2023 and 2024. Mm-hmm. I get it. I get it. Najira. That's a beautiful thing because I think you recognize that you were disinterested and you said, you know what, I gotta do something about this. I gotta do something, I gotta help myself. I can't be in this state longer because there's no purpose in living at that point, right? When you're disinterested. There's no purpose. And when there's no purpose, that's when you feel like you don't want to do anything. You feel debilitated. You just want to stay in bed. You don't want to see anybody. You don't want to do anything. It's totally, totally something that a lot of us have felt at different points in our lives. And I totally get it. And so what it is one of the first step, number one, let's get into how we can really start to align ourselves with this inner integrity that we all possess and have. It's really to connect yourself to your higher self. It's connect yourself to the divine, connect yourself to that infinite part of you, the infinite possibilities, that eternal part of you, really, your higher self, your soul. That's number one, because when you are disinterested, that means there's a wall up. And where there's a walls up, that connection is disconnected. That connection to who you really are is disconnected. And that's where the disinterest come. So it's about reconnecting yourself to that part of you that is eternal, that is infinite potential, that is your higher self, that is the divine, that is connected to all of the universal forces of this planet and the worldwide universe. That's the first thing that you want to work on is how can I reconnect myself to that? Because when you reconnect yourself to that part of you, is that reconnection, that's when flow opens up. That's when you can really say, I can be truthful to myself. I'm not going to lie to myself because I could see clearly. I could see clearly with clarity, without fear, I can see clearly my purpose and why I'm here. There's clarity that comes from that connection. That's what it is. There's that clarity and there's that deep sense of peace and serenity when you reconnect yourself with that infinite part of you, where fear no longer speaks because the ego mind doesn't really have a place in the higher self. The ego mind gets pushed out. And when the ego mind gets pushed out, that's when you have a lot of clarity. And that's when you really understand who you are, your inner integrity of what it is that my path should be and what it is that I have been given and bestowed upon me to have this higher purpose life, to discover who you really are, your inner truth, your inner integrity, the authentic, people say authentic self in a very superficial way. What does that really mean, authentic self? When people say that, sometimes it's superficial. It doesn't mean anything. But in this case, when you become connected, you really understand what that means in a profound way. Authenticity, integrity of who you really are. And what's the greatest thing about when you become reconnected to that part of you, fear kind of disappears. Fear disappears. Why? And fear is the greatest obstacle to your expansion and growth. It's the greatest obstacle to manifesting success in life. Fear. Fear. Fear will debilitate you. It will question who you are. It will question your worthiness. It'll question that whether you're good enough. And so once you kind of push fear aside, think about what you're tapping into. You're tapping into your energetic blueprint DNA of who you really are. And all of that and then when you express that out into this, what you call this life, it resonates with people. It inspires people. It motivates people. It influences people. And that's how you start to create those abundance and prosperity. So think about it in a practical way. So going back to my example of my family member, think about if my family member made a shift and say, you know what? I've reconnected to my higher self. I realize that I am unconditionally worthy and I'm good enough. And therefore, I know that I could leave this career that does not serve me and I could make that transition. And I don't know exactly how it's going to go. I don't know exactly the way it's going to go, but I have faith because I'm an infinite being of infinite possibilities. And all of that will be guided to me in divine time in the way it should. And I'll be in that flow and things will happen. And there's a process to it. Think about if that was the mindset that I'm going to leave this so I could connect with who I am, connect and align with my inner integrity, and start being on the path of what I'm really here to do is to express myself through food, through recipes that people love and connect with. Because the way I make chicken soup is going to be different from the way anybody else makes chicken soup. It's going to taste different. It's going to smell different. It's going to be different. And that difference will resonate with people out there. And so think about if there was that connection to that higher self, that you wouldn't have the fear of making that transition. You wouldn't have the fear of saying, I'm going to leave this behind because it's not aligned with my inner integrity. It's not aligned with my energetic blueprint DNA. And therefore, I fear is no longer an issue. And therefore, I can go on this new path. I can have the courage and know that I'm worthy enough to go on that new path. And a lot of times it's a worthy issue. It's that you don't feel that you're worthy enough to go on to express, to manifest the highest expression of yourself in this life. That there's a worthy issue behind that. That's deeply rooted in the subconscious mind. And every cell in your body is telling you that you don't feel worthy. And so, obviously, if every cell in your body is telling you don't feel worthy, you're not going to be doing and you're not going to be making that leap and making that transition into something that you should really, that is aligned with your inner integrity. And so, this is where the crux becomes is to reconnect yourself with your higher self, with the infinite part of you, with the part of you that doesn't have that fear, the part of you that lets go of that ego mind and that speaks truth to you. And you just know there's just this knowing, inner knowing that you're on the right path. You know, when there's that inner knowing that speaks that I'm on the right path, that this is the right way for me. This is the journey for me. Nobody's going to know that except you. Okay, so does anybody have questions about this topic of aligning with your inner integrity? Okay, so if nobody has questions, let's go to part two. So part one was I have to start connecting with my inner integrity, and I have to start connecting with my higher self and the divine and the universal forces. That's number one. I have to start connecting myself with that part of me because that part of me already knows. And that part of me is less about fear and more about faith and more about trust. So once you've connected with that part of you and you really, really, you're like, wow, this is that's I realize that I am an infinite being of infinite potential. And I have so many unique talents and gifts and motivation and interests that I didn't even know that I had before. And so that would be the time to really do an exercise where you would take out a journal and you would start to write down. You would start to write down what are the things that really motivate you that you've been interested since you were 2 years old or 3 years old or 4 years old? What are the things that you know that you're really good at? Because you know the things that you're good at and the things you're not good at. I am so bad with putting things together. Like if you gave me an IKEA furniture, I would be horrible at it. But I know people that are so good at it. They're just good at putting things together, like using their hands and putting things together. Like unbelievable. And I'm so bad at it. So I know that I wouldn't be a great craftsman or artist or furniture maker because I'm just not good at putting those things together. My brain doesn't work that way. So you're going to be writing down what it is that you know that you're really good at because you know, and what it is that you're really interested in. I've always been interested in metaphysical things my whole life. It's weird. And I come from an atheist family, but I've always been interested in something that I can't see, something that I can't smell, something that I can't hear, something that I can't taste, something that I can't touch. I've always been interested in the higher consciousness level. It's weird. It's intuitive. It's something that comes to me naturally. And this is why I started Yin and Yang Living, because I've always been interested in the metaphysical. And it's weird because if you look at my life path number, it's number 7. It just happens that way. And number 7 is all about the spiritual, the metaphysical. That's what it's all about. And the teachers and the knowledge of those things, because uh, that is what life path 7 is. And it just happens that I'm a life path 7. So it totally made sense when I discovered that and I discovered my life path years after I got into this metaphysical stuff. And so so knowing that, let's say I enjoy metaphysical stuff and that is the way that I want to go and that's the way I do. Now I can make decisions based on that. What am I going to do with that? You know, I want to create a business around it. I want to create a blog. I want to create this. I want to create that. The business that I have, the AI in Chinese medicine is very much aligned with that. Why? Because Chinese medicine, and the reason why I have become very interested in Chinese medicine, not because I'm Asian, is because it's an energetic healing system. It's based on the energetic principles of qi, life force energy, yin yang. All of these energetic principles is how Chinese medicine was born. And that's why, which is coming out of metaphysical principles, right? Qi, life force energy, yin yang, all of these metaphysical. That's why I became very interested in Chinese medicine and used it in my own life for many years. Chinese herbs, gua sha. I do gua sha every day. So think about all of the choices that I make in my life. It's in aligned with that inner integrity of I am here to promote spiritual living, to promote holistic living, which is all tied to that metaphysical realm. Think about that. So everything that I do has to feel aligned with that. Every decision that I make has to feel aligned with that. And when you do, it just comes through naturally and other people will resonate with you. So so that's what you do. Number one, and Najira, you said, how do I connect with the inner integrity? I said, step one, connect with your higher self. Let the ego mind be put aside. And once you connect with your higher self, you'll feel a sense of faith, a sense of trust in the process. And once you start feeling that, that's when you can start to really be truthful about yourself. And that's when you can start to write down, what are my interests? What are my talents and gifts? What am I always drawn to? Which direction? And you know this, your soul knows this because your soul will, at that point, when you're connected to your higher self, your soul will speak loudly about what it is that you love and what it is that you're interested in and what are the talents and gifts that you have been bestowed upon. And that's the way. And then once you know that, you can figure out, how am I going to express this out into the world? Am I going to do it as a teacher? Am I going to do it as a blogger? Am I going to do it as an engineer? Am I going to do it as a doctor? How am I going to express this? There's many, and there might be many, maybe more than one or two ways that you can express it. Maybe there's three ways that you could express it, but you pick one and you go on that journey. Does that mean that because you pick one journey, one path, that that's the path that you're going to stay on forever? No, because change is the only constant. That means that that's the path for the moment. And then when the another path comes up, because it's time for the other path, you'll know and you'll go on that other path. So those things, all of those, all of your inner integrity can be expressed in different ways, in different fields, in different areas. It might be, expressed in a video. It might be expressed in technology. It might be expressed in art. It might be expressed in writing. So, and in a way that you're going to do it. Nobody can do it the way you're going to do it. That is the unique thing about this, is that nobody's going to ever express the way you're going to do it because nobody has your energetic DNA except you. It is unique. It is only for you. Okay, let's see if there's any. Najira asks, are the universal forces inclusive of different spirits, e.g., water spirits, mermaids, ancient goddesses? What do you think about connecting to these spirits? Okay. I connect, I'm all for connecting with spirits. Like I say, we have a spirit team, right? Um, and water spirit, yeah, water is a spirit. Of course you should connect with water spirit. You know how powerful water is? Water is an incredibly powerful element of energy. Water is all about absorbing. And people who, like, if you look at the water signs, like the mermaid, like not the mermaids, but the Scorpios and the Cancers, they're water signs, right? They're very deep thinkers and they tend to be very empathic and they seem to absorb and they seem to be able to find the depths of situations and things. And so connecting with water element is very healing. It's very it's like connecting with your soul. When you connect with the water element, you're connecting with your higher self. So that's a beautiful way to connect with your higher self. And ancient goddesses. Now, there are ancient goddesses that you can certainly connect with, but make sure that those ancient goddesses are aligned with who you are. There are things that I don't worship because it's not aligned with me. It's not aligned with my value systems. It's not aligned with my belief systems. It's not aligned with my spiritual belief systems. My spiritual belief system is that everything is really energy. And energy is a consciousness. So everything has a consciousness, the water, the mountains, the moon, the stars, right? There's intelligent awareness through energy. And that is my spiritual belief. So whenever I connect with, you know, a goddess or a god, whatever that I think, a deity, quote unquote deity, I want to make sure that that is aligned with my spiritual beliefs. If something is not aligned, then it's not for me. It's maybe for somebody else. So just make sure that those things that you worship is aligned with your inner integrity, with who you are, with what you believe. Make sure it's aligned with that. And if it's aligned with that, it's good. If it's not aligned with that, then it's not for you. So that's how you can make that decision. Barbara asks, what to work on in the worthiness situation? Thank you. Yeah, that's a great question. I think when I started on my worthiness journey, I looked to Louise Hay. Louise Hay. And Louise Hay I happen to have a mirror here. She has a mirror tool where you take a mirror and you look at it, or you go in front of, let's say your bathroom has a mirror. You wake up in the morning, you go in front of your bathroom and you say, I love you. I love you. I love you. You are good enough. You are unconditionally worthy. You are beautiful. I love you. I love you. That is a very, very simple thing that you could start doing today. And you could do it several times a day. Maybe it's 3 times a day. Maybe it's 4 times a day. Go in front of a mirror. If you're at your job, Get one of these small mirrors. And you could say it, you don't have to say it out loud because, maybe your coworker might think you're strange, right? So you could say it inside in your mind, and your coworker might think that you're just, trying to fix your makeup, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, or you fix your hair, and you say it quietly in your mind, I love you, right? So you don't have to say it out loud if you're in the public. So the mirror work is something to because you basically have to reprogram that subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind says somehow you're not good enough, somehow you're not unconditionally worthy. And so the only way to reprogram that is to keep saying and repeat and practice by saying it internally, by saying it out loud, and also making sure that if you have, let's say something comes up, and let's say you're looking for a relationship, and somebody comes into your life and you're like, wow, this person's amazing. But all of a sudden you get this feeling that you're not good enough. And you're like, oh God, I don't think that person would like me. And why would just that person isn't for me? Because not because you don't want to get to know this person, it's because so for some reason you feel you're not good enough. And so having that awareness that you're saying that, and you're not gonna and you're preventing yourself from getting to know this person better because for some reason you put this person on a pedestal and you think you're not good enough. So that's when you have to say, no, stop, pause with that thought, pause with that feeling, pause, pause. What can I say to myself to say I am good enough? Yes, I am good enough in my own unique way because the divine created me uniquely. And whether or not this person is going to work out in the long term, I don't know. But I am definitely good enough to get to know this person, to see if this person is somebody that I should get to know. And I'm good enough to at least explore that if we're a good fit, right? So again, if you're finding yourself not doing something, preventing action because all of a sudden you thought you were not good enough, catch that, be aware of that, and pause. And so for in this example, so what's the big deal? If you explore to explore, and if the person, let's say it didn't work out, so what? That's not the end of the world. It means that this person wasn't for you, but you are definitely good enough to explore. That person is not above you. That person's not under you. You bring different things to the table. Whether it's a fit or a match, that's a different story. But there's nothing about that person that is above you or even under you. It's just oranges and apple. And you can say, you know what? I have my own, I'm an apple. She's an orange. He's a grape. That person's a banana. We're all equal. They're all equal fruits. One fruit is not necessary, but all of those fruits have validity, right? But they're just different. And so you have to start to say, oh, I have my own value. I'm an orange and that person's an apple. And we have different purposes. Whether we're going to work together or be together, that's a different story because sometimes you're not meant to, it's not in the highest and best interest for those two energies to come together. And you'll make that decision at the right time, but you have to explore it, right? So you want to make sure that you're exploring. Greetings, Botanical Bro. Nice to meet you. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Hi, Najira. I'm glad to hear that. I will definitely connect with water element and check deities in my alignment. Thank you. You're well. Thank you, Najira, for doing the. Hi, Botanical Bro 888. What is the link to the Chinese meds AI question that you spoke about a few months ago? Oh yeah, let me give you that link and let me explain to you what that link is about. The reason why we created this link was because we're building this AI and we're actually, you know, in it right now. And this AI is an educational platform to learn about traditional Chinese medicine healing system for to give you alternative and to give you options to make better decisions about health and wellness. And one of the things about Chinese medicine that we discovered, even though it's such a huge market, globally, and even in the US, it's a big market. One of the things that we understand very profoundly is that most of the consumers here, they don't know anything about it, right? And if you don't know anything about something, how can you employ it in your life? How can you use it in your life, right? And so one of the things that we discover is there's a huge lack of knowledge about Chinese medicine, huge. And so we've brought in incredible Chinese medicine experts on our team, who have been practicing Chinese medicine, scholar of Chinese medicine for 50 years, each one of the experts. And really, and my co-founder is a genius. My co-founder, Julian, is a genius. He's a Scorpio. So he's a very deep thinker. And he's building out this technology. And with the help of our experts on our team. And it's been an incredible journey of what he's been able to do. And we're just really excited about it because we know that anybody around the world could use it, because it's going to be online. And we're using the AI to really help us, to help make sense of all the data, because we're talking about 5,000 years worth of data, to make sense of that data and to present it in a way that is digestible to a consumer. Because Chinese medicine is a very foreign language. Not just that it's Chinese, but it's like liver deficiency. Well, what does liver deficiency mean? You know, or heat. Heat and the heat, spleen heat. What does that really mean, right? It's a foreign language. So that's where we come in and we really employ AI, deep AI, to help make sense of all of that data. And so it's for your highest and best good. And it's going to be for free. You're not going to have to pay for that. Um, for just to, go on the website and look at certain, knowledge and get some knowledge and so that you can make better choices in your health and wellness for you and your family. So that's the link right there. Najira says, some people are charged to connect you to these energies. I believe I can do it right. Yes, of course. There's lots of energy healers. If you believe it, you can then do it. But with energy healers, it's I've gone to see a lot of energy healers and I've paid. And the reason why I was happy to pay was to support their work because I always say being an energy healer is not easy, because you have to come in with a clean energy. So if you don't come in with a clean energy, you're going to muddy up the energy. So you can't, because energy healers are channelers. They're channeling the life force energy and then moving it to you. That is a very hard thing to do. So you're just a channeler. So if you're energetically muddy in with your own energy, then you can't become a good channeler because whatever energy that comes through you, you'll corrupt it. And you don't want to pass that along to your client. So that's why the for me the energy healer has to show up clean. That's the most important thing with any energy healers. If they show up with stress, whatever, with all of their garbage, they bring that to the session, they're not going to be effective. So the thing with Najira, and that takes years to show up clean, years. There was an energy healer, that one of the best energy healers. I had a remote session. She was from, she lived in Colorado, but she's retired now. It was the best energy. We did a remote session where she just told me this is the time that I'm going to do it. We weren't even on Zoom. She just told me the time and date. And that during that time and day, I stayed in my bed. I played meditation music. And all of a sudden, my whole left leg was tingling. She was incredible. And I knew it was she was clearing the energy from me. She was channeling that life force energy. The thing with her is that she was teaching, she's been doing this work for 50 years. 50 years. And she was teaching energy healers how to clean themselves energetically. How to clean themselves energetically. So, Najira, I ask you, please clean yourself energetically before you do those things. And I have guided meditations to clean your energy. Use those guided meditations. You have to make sure that you're clean energetically. That's important to energy healing. You're welcome, Najira. Okay, so if anybody doesn't have any more questions, let's just do a recap of this align with your inner integrity. Aligning with your inner integrity means that you're aligning with your energetic blueprint DNA that God has bestowed upon you uniquely. And when you align with that part of you, is when you start to really make powerful decisions in your life, whether it's career, business, money, whatever. You start to make decisions that are truly in alignment with your journey. And when you make those decisions that are truly aligned with your journey, you will see how things open up for you, opportunities, your people, situations. And so inner aligning with that inner integrity is to be truthful about you, not looking outward and looking at what other people are doing and trying to copy them. Because you have your journey, they have their journey, you have your energetic blueprint DNA, that person has their energetic blueprint DNA. And too many times we're on social media and we're looking at other people's journey and we say, "Oh, I want to be like that person," and we're trying to copy that person's journey. Now, maybe it works. It might work because maybe maybe that is your journey, but oftentimes it's not your journey. So the integrity energy is about being truthful with yourself, about who you are, what your energetic blueprint DNA is, what your gifts and talents are, what your true interests and motivation comes. Where does that deep part of you come, and how can that shine? So that's when you align with your inner integrity, which then allows you to make decisions in your career, in your relationships, in your finances that truly align with that. And that's when you become a powerful manifest and creative your life. So thank you so much. Oh, hi, Miss Mistra. I'd like to ask a question. Okay, before we go, let's answer this one question. I was kicked out of my fitness facility that was my second home for 13 years for no reason other than I was harassed by a personal trainer there for over a year. And finally, so what is the question, Miss? When I reached out to ask for help, I was dismissed for no reason. What can I do to heal myself and either return and be the place healed or find better? I'm struggling here and stuck in my own resistance for no reason. Okay, so they kicked you out because you were being harassed by the personal trainer, and you reported that. Why did they kick you out? Um, there must be a reason why they kicked you out. They kicked you out because you reported. Okay, you reported that personal trainer. Okay. So if that is the case, then I would say, wow, this is a blessing in disguise that, oh, I see. They spoke up and they try to cover it up. Okay. So this is what I would do. I would say, okay, then you know what? Change. First of all, Miss Citra, change is the only constant. You've been there for 13 years, and I understand. People hate change. Hate it. Why? Because it brings the unknown, the fear of the unknown, right? And they hate that. I don't even like change myself. But the first premise that you have to understand about being successful in life is change is the only constant. And getting comfortable with change. So what I would say is, okay, this is God's way of telling me this no longer serves me. It was very blatant. This place no longer serves me. And I'm not going to try to force myself on the place because that's just resistant energy. I'm not going to try to force. I'm going to let it go. And what I would say to myself, wow, thank you for showing me that change is needed here. That I'm let this go, make energetic space, and something better is going to come in the right divine timing. Maybe it's not going to happen today. Maybe it's not going to happen tomorrow, but I trust that the right place will come in divine timing. So the first thing is to let that energy go. Don't obsess about it. Don't try to don't try to control other people, other situations, because you really don't have control over them. You only have control over yourself. So you said, I'm going to let go to make energetic space so that I can have something even better come into my experience. And it's going to happen in the timing that it should, the divine timing that it should. And then not think about it and do some exercises at home or get another trainer to come up, whatever. Don't think about it, because the more you think about, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. That is your power. Because when you let it go and you say something, there's something better for me, now you've raised your standards and the universe meets you where you at. So you raise your, so you say something better is going to come into my experience. I know it is. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, but I know I have faith in the process. And you're telling me that this place no longer serves me. Okay. So that's what I would keep repeating and saying to yourself, because let me tell you, every time I let something go that I thought, oh my God, something better came in. Maybe not tomorrow, but it happened in divine timing. Okay. Hi, Moon Juice. That's so cute. Okay. I Ching 17. Which energy is that? I don't know it off the top of my head. Okay, so why don't you let's talk about that number 17. I don't know what energy that is. If you have a name for it, like integrity, corruption, whatever, I can mention it, but I need a name of what that number 17 is, and then I can tell you more about it. So maybe figure out what that name is, and then I can come back next week and I will expound upon it. You're welcome. You're welcome. Miss Citra. What a Miss Citra. What a cute name. I love it. Okay, so let's do a closing prayer. Dear God, angel, spirit guides, and master divine prayer, thank you so much for allowing us to create this sacred space to talk about this topic on aligning with your inner integrity to be able to manifest the prosperity abundance. I ask you to guide all of these beautiful souls on aligning with their inner integrity, aligning with their energetic blueprint DNA, for to express their infinite possibility, to express the highest potential of who they really are. So we thank you for your continued support, your continued guidance, your continued messages, your continued protections, and most importantly, your unconditional love. And so it is. Okay, much love and blessings. Have a wonderful week.